John, why don't you tell us a little bit about how this weekend has gone for UBC?
It was a little bit disappointing, to be honest. We came out, we lost on the Universe Point to Harvard, which put us into the pre-quarters with Pittsburgh. And we had a terrible showing against Carleton. I think the final score was like 15-7 or something like that. And largely, I think we struggled because our offense, like all season long, sort of revolved around being able to create undercuts with our lane cutters because we have like strong deep shots from the handlers, and then we didn't have that this weekend, so the lane cutters were having trouble getting underneath. So that was a bit of a struggle.
How does this tournament compare with how you guys did at regionals and throughout the season? Throughout the season, you look very, very strong. And in regionals, you guys were really strong in the final.
Yeah, I think this tournament, we tallied it all up, and about the week before coming here, we had a total of 11 at least nagging injuries, and then I think 5 of those 11 were probably full injuries, torn hamstrings that sort of healed up, and people were playing 3/4 strength on, and like myself, I had a broken right arm, so I was playing left-handed, and a couple other guys, and Prez or Aaron Liu, he had a really bad bruised heel, so he wasn't running at 100% either. He had a terrible bruised heel. I think that had a big impact for us. And it's not an excuse. You come into this tournament, with whatever you have, and everybody plays as hard as they can. But I think it impacted us sort of more mentally, I'd say, than actually you look at the players we had. I think the impact was more mental than it was sort of a physical impact, even though there were a lot of physical injuries.
Right. So you came in as the 4th seed in the tournament. You were D1, Group D.
Yep.
What was the game that was really the turning point that you guys thought things were going?
I don't think we ever thought things weren't working. I just felt I think we were more sort of felt like we were just struggling a little bit in that we had a couple drops, a couple throwaways, and all throughout the tournament we had that happening. I wouldn't say there's a single moment. And frankly, today, we turned it around. We're able to win out, come in 9th, which it's 9th isn't a great finish, but it's not an easy thing to do when you've had a tough loss in a pre-quarters or you get trounced by another team. So I wouldn't really say that there was a turning point or a moment of sort of a feeling of defeat. It was just like I said before, I think it's sort of just a long season with a few injuries and things. Just had a bit of a mental, there's a lot of mental fatigue on the team.
Talk about your game against Harvard the last play game of the season.
Yeah, it was a great game. We were down, I think, for most of the game. It managed to take the lead at I can't remember. Well, we were up 1. We took the lead, and we got a break. We got the block, and we had it on their goal line. And then we got to a high count situation with a throwaway. So then their O-line scored to tie it up. And then we went to Universe Point, and we had the disc, worked it all the way up. I had it in my hands at about 30 yards away from the end zone. Had Andre Galitz making a cut, came under and struck, and I went for the right-handed huck. Just sucked it up and just went for it because I saw him open, and the wind was just a little off, and then it sailed down the sideline right as he's about to make the play. It just fades out of bounds, and then Stubbs picks it up and just jacks it full field to a 50-50 battle, and they come down with it and win. It's pretty heartbreaking.
Let's talk about something that was going well for you guys all season, kind of the Furious effect. A bunch of Furious George players and their great club experience on the success of UBC.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of us played Furious for myself and Aaron Loach played Furious for 2 years, and then Aaron Liu, Andre Galitz both joined in last year. So they had a season under their belts. And we actually had a pretty good showing last year. We learned a lot, right? Anybody who plays under, Andrew Lugsden or Mauro and Morgan and Nick and Oscar, you're going to learn a lot, and your experience is going to grow immensely. And I think the biggest thing for us is it taught us how to win. And I think that's a really important thing for a lot of teams, and like, you know, coming from UVic, where I did schooling beforehand, that was like one of the biggest things we found. We had like we had a good top end, but not a lot of experience sort of like winning games, like learning how to win a tournament. And I think that was sort of the biggest effect for us, like learning how to win with Furious.
It certainly had an effect on their season. You guys won basically every tournament you went to, and the only tournament you lost was in the finals of Centex.
Yeah.
So definitely a successful season, and you guys were short squatted at Centex, I heard anyway.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, I think we went down with 12 or 13 healthy guys, maybe 14, I think. Yeah.
So in that place finish, what's next for UBC next year?
Well, it's a big rebuilding year. I think there's 6 players that are returning from this team. So, but like, you know, who knows? Like, Vancouver is always pumping out incredible ultimate players. Like, I coached a high school team at the British Columbia Provincials, and there's some amazing talent up there. And you know, it depends like what schools they end up going to. But I wouldn't say that UBC is like out by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah, it's a really strong program, and it will always be strong. I actually say, like, looking in next year, I think Victoria is going to have a really strong team again. Yeah.
So what about you? How long till you're fully recovered and playing?
I'm hoping to be back in about 2 weeks. So we have Flower Bowl this weekend, and then a team getaway the weekend after, and then we're going to Solstice. I'm hoping to play for Solstice. That's sort of the goal. But yeah, we got, you know, big year for Furious coming up. We have Canadian Nationals, and that's to represent the country at Worlds next year. So yeah.
All right, John Norris, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Callahan nominee for the University of British Columbia and Sky.
Thanks.